welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. It's morning for me, but I believe it's later in the evening for the both of you.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. We have Teresa Gallagher and Dan Russell from the amazing world of Gumball, as well as many other wonderful projects for the both of them.
Oh,
Um, Dan Russell, who is originally from Boston, has now settled in Hampshire, I believe, and has
yes.
voiced dozens of animated characters, including The Amazing World of Gumball, Peppa Pig, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and Teresa Gallagher is an award-winning actor from the UK, and you can hear her voice in radio dramas, audiobooks, video games, and, of course, The Amazing World of Gumball. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Oh, it's a
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So, both of you have pretty incredible resumes for voiceover. When you got started in your acting careers, is this trajectory kind of what you imagined for yourself? Teresa, we can start with you if you'd like.
No, I never dreamt in a million years I'd be doing animation. I was theatre all the way for many, many years with the odd telly show and the odd movie, tiny parts in some movies, but it was almost all theatre. But I'd started to do the BBC Radio Drama Company in London, which is a fantastic year-long contract. And I'd never done anything audio before then at all. So I did a whole year of doing fantastic parts on the radio in the dramas. And that got me an agent. And then I got I did 7 years as Andy McDowell in of the L'Oreal adverts. So I was dubbing her in the UK for 7 years. And so I would still be going off doing my theatre jobs and then popping into a studio to continue doing the L'Oreals. And one day the engineer said to me, "Oh, before you go, I don't suppose you can do boy voices, can you?" And I said, "I've absolutely no idea. Shall we give it a go?" So I gave it a go, and I got this part in this animation. I'm playing this little boy character, and the series was called Engie Benji. And I won't go into all the details, but it all went a little bit pear-shaped, and I ended up playing other parts in it. Not no part. I think it was nothing to do with me, but it is. Oh, it's a long story. Anyway, a very very famous person took over, but it started the ball rolling for me. And so, yeah, I would never have guessed ever that I would be doing so much audio and particularly animation. My uncle Dennis, he was an animator, but a storyboard artist as well for things like Superman and the Harry Potter films. Sadly, he died a couple of years ago, but he so I once thought that I might be an animator when I was about 20. I thought, oh, that would be a cool job. But I never went to university. I just went straight to doing all the theatre. So I never went to art college or anything to give me that basis to be an animator um, and or to film school. So that would have been fun. But no, so yeah, complete surprise for me and a very lovely one at that.
Awesome. And how about you, Dan? Is this where you kind of imagined your career would take you?
No, no, I didn't. But first, that was great hearing that, Teresa. That was
Oh,
really interesting. I had
Yeah,
no idea you did
absolutely.
all that stuff. In the first place, I had no idea that you could do a year-long contract with the BBC.
oh yeah, you can only
Because
do 3 months now, but then now
well,
it's a year.
I did a couple of plays. Probably shows how good I was. I did a couple of plays, and I didn't know about the year-long contract. But when I was with him, when I was with him, it was when you first time I did a play for the BBC. Was at the studio near where BBC is now. But I walked in, they still had the guys in the white coats
Oh
in
yeah.
the control room, and you weren't allowed in the
Yeah.
control room, and they would. And you said, could
Well,
you
it was
add some
still on
volume?
tape as well, Dan.
Add some volume, volume. We need volume, 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 and it'd go down the chain. And then the guy would pick up a great big, on the mixing desk. It was a knob. He'd go like this.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
something like that. Oh, but that was really interesting, Teresa. Oh, I used to do studio line, studio line to boost
Did
your curls.
you?
Yes,
Oh,
that was me.
yeah.
We were doing the same
Wow.
damn ad at the same time,
Oh,
and that
probably.
and they were trying to emulate a thing called oh God, it was a the start of the digital thing. It was what they used to do, 19 and all that kind of stuff. They were trying to
Yeah.
emulate that. They didn't
Of
know how to
course.
do
Just
it.
just a studio line.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
had us physically do it. It was meant to be a anyway. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. We should talk more, Teresa.
Yes, about the old ad days.
about about the old days. No,
Yeah.
but me, I'm yeah, Boston, Massachusetts. I was very lucky to have a really decent education, and my dad was post World War II, and he decided that his boys were going to go to university, so we all went to university. And I knew I was always playing guitar and sang, and I knew I was going to do that or have a shot at that. Um, and my family moved to the Caribbean, and at that time I had started gigging in nightclubs, and I wound up doing well. I essentially I did 3 months a year down in the Caribbean playing and singing to make money for college, and then at the end of college, there was a university. Sorry, they had a program in London, and I was fascinated with London from the year dot. So I came over for 6 months, wound up going to university here for a year, and absolutely fell in love with London immediately. It was like an old worn shirt from day one. And
Oh.
I knew that if I was going to be a starving musician, I didn't want to do it in New York City. And being an East Coast boy at that time, it was all big hair, stadium rock and roll. And here I am playing Ry Cooder and James Taylor and almost what would become country rock, but solo guitar playing. So I got over here, and I was actually brought over here as a songwriter by a publishing company, and I did nightclubs 6 nights a week for 6 or 8 years. And when you're in your 20s, it doesn't get more fun than that. Not
No.
exactly, not exactly a stairway to heaven, but damn, we had fun. And it all down in Chelsea and Kings Road, and I started doing sessions as a guitar player and as a singer. And Teresa will know this extremely well. At that time, there was only about 5 guys in town who did the music, what we called then jingles for TV
Yeah.
commercials, and that
Yeah.
was David Dundas, Ronnie Bond, Jonathan Hodge. It's been a while, but anyway,
Yeah.
I was flavor of the month for a while as a guitar player, and I did some singing, and I never ever talk about money beyond this one little thing is that I was working for 17 quid a night, and I did a commercial, and they paid me slightly more than that. It was a bit shocking. And so I thought, and so that made an impression, but also I loved it. I absolutely loved it. People would look down their nose at people doing commercials.
Mm.
And,
Yeah.
and I thought it was fascinating and creative, and everything I knew how to do, I got to do doing commercials. And that's why I probably made a bunch of them mad at me because I was so enthusiastic, and I wanted to write, and I wanted to play, and I wanted to sing. And then I got a chance to do some voiceovers, and I thought, what is this? Oh,
Mm.
a
Mm.
voice. That's interesting. My good friend who I had a company with, Teresa, for 17 years, Bob Saker. Bob and
Oh,
I,
yes.
yes, we had a company together for 17 years, but Bob turned me on to a voice agent, which was Maxine at the Voice Shop, and I started voicing stuff. And they were just straight up, you are an American with an equity ticket in London at that time. There weren't a lot of us around. So I started voicing.
No.
Uh, One day, a gentleman asked me to do a voice for a cartoon. And funnily enough, it was an English accent, which is weird, but it was for the Tailor of Gloucester for
Oh, yeah.
Beatrix Potter. Beatrix
Yeah.
Potter's Taylor of Gloucester. And that kind of started it all off. The gentleman who asked me to do that had a company, and they were producing a lot. And what we realized was that that we'd worked both sides of the microphone. So we understood. So I thought that that was a good thing
Mhm.
because as a director, I knew how to talk to actors.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I hope that comes through in my directing. I don't know, but I like to think it does. So there I was doing commercials and stuff, and the cartoons just went whoosh. And I'm
Oh
knocking on
yeah.
like 6,000 shows now. We realized that we knew people like Teresa and other actors, so that we could hire, we could cast. We had the timing from the commercials, so we could script polish, we could act, and we could direct. So this whole thing went on, and I was doing cartoons and normal voiceovers through my agent, as well as doing stuff through my company. And
Nice.
did I answer your question? And that's what I do now. I direct and I speak, and I'm hoping to. Well, yeah, I'm writing I'd like to do some grown-up songwriting in my dotage. I have about 4 or 5 songs in Gumball,
Oh, that's
which
Do
was
amazing.
you?
one little thing.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, I didn't know that. Oh,
Oh,
you
that
sang them, but did you write them?
no, I wrote them, produced them,
Did
and
you? Well, I
this
didn't know that.
that was back when Richard could turn to you and say, "Oi."
Yeah. Oh, which ones can you remember?
My favorite is the Hero song. In the
Oh,
episode called "The Hero,"
yeah.
where
I'm writing
they
these down.
talk about when we were dating and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I like that just because I thought it was a good song. Except my children were right at that age, so the cryy bit is for real. I got
Oh,
all I got all emotional doing the Hero song.
yeah.
Wow, that what incredible journeys that you
I've
both
been
have had.
transported.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing.
Really
You're
wonderful.
welcome.
Speaking of amazing, memorable moments, can you tell us like a bit about the audition process for Gumball specifically?
Yeah, it's quite hard to. Sorry, do you want Dan
No,
first?
you go,
Either
Teresa.
one.
Oh, sorry.
I think you can skip me. I'll bet it's exactly the same.
Well, I'm sure you've got. Well, we'll have different memories though, won't we? I mean, it's a little bit hazy because it was something like 2011, or it must. I think it came out 2011, so we must have been auditioning 2010,
Mm,
I
Okay.
think.
mm.
So that's an awful long time ago. But it was at the sound company, wasn't it, Dan?
Downstairs. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were
So it's
downstairs. Yeah,
down. So it was
yeah.
downstairs at the sound company, which is a fabulous studio in London. And it was Sarah Faust was engineering, because I remember that, and I didn't think she'd been there that long. And uh,
Sarah Faust was engineering.
yes,
Oh God, I'm losing it. Okay, right. Keep
yes.
go on. I'm intrigued.
So I don't think she and Dave weren't even together then. That's another story, a love story. But I thought that Richard was there. But I sent him a message the other day, Richard Overall, and I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, what have you got any memories of that?" He said, "Oh, I wasn't there." I went, "Oh,"
Oh.
he said that it was Ben and Dan Leonard and Ben Bockley.
I think I think Mick might have been there. Mick Graves. He might have
Oh,
been
and
there.
Mick, sorry, and Mick, yes, exactly.
Yep.
So they were
Now,
there,
yes.
and
Mm.
and I remember, well, I always get quite nervous at auditions, but they were so it was all very upbeat, so friendly, and they didn't really know what they wanted until they heard it. So there was a lot of tweaking at the time, which doesn't always happen at auditions still. But if you're lucky enough to get an audition when you're actually in the room with people, nothing can beat that. Because so many tests are done, you just do them at home and send them in, but you just can't beat an in-person
No, you
test.
can't. It's vicious that because you're talk about flying blind doing
Oh,
auditions
truly,
at
yeah,
home.
it's all
You
guesswork. But we had the
nothing.
joy of having, the creator, Ben, there with
Mm,
us.
mm.
So I remember being directed a lot, and I just sort of went with the flow. And I think I was also auditioning for Miss Simeon because they had no idea what she was going to sound like. And in the end, I think it was Lewis that did Miss
It was
Simeon.
Lewis. It was Lewis. He loves doing that voice.
Yeah, I don't know if he still is.
No,
I'm a bit
he
behind with.
no Lewis was gone after like one season, maybe two seasons.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he had left, and they had somebody else do it. But
Okay.
it was
So
really
well,
wide. It was really wide open at the time. All the parts that
it
were
was.
going.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
upside
So,
down mouth. That was the upside down mouth. That was Ben's girlfriend. I was that for a while, and I wasn't the original donut cop. I got that about halfway through the first season, because
yeah.
a lot of people were in, and then a lot of people, not a lot of people,
Moved on. Yeah. So a few
moved
people.
on to
Yeah.
different
To
things.
other
But if
projects they needed to be at. Yeah.
but
Um,
lucky us, we were the five in the credits, and we got to
Lucky
stay
us.
there.
Yeah. And they did see a lot of people for for the main family. Well, for everything
Mm.
probably, but I know that they saw a lot of people for Nicole, some household names, and I thought, oh well, it won't be me. But there were
It's great
no
listening.
household names at all. There were no people that were known in the cast at all.
It's great
Because the
listening to
world
you.
was so, the world of Elmore is so strong. The writing was so brilliant. Everything was so new and wacky and wonderful. Um, that yeah, you didn't really need to attract people in by getting any names in.
Mm.
So
Mm,
I feel
It's
very fortunate that I got the parts, yes. And
well,
yes,
it's a,
and through the series we did audition for various things as we went along, didn't we?
I did. I was really pretty lucky because Richard got to the point to just say, "Dan, do
Yeah,
that." On
exactly.
some
Yeah,
on some things, and then you worried
yeah.
that you were too close to other characters,
Mm.
and then you kick yourself and say, "I got to go home and work harder." And but it worked out because I think I wound up with 11 characters up and down the show. But it's so nice having
Yeah.
you and sorry, I'm being gushy now, but it's great. It has been, and you're so good. And
we can be
you start
gushy. It's
talking,
okay.
and
Oh,
and
well, I'll be gushy back
you no,
because
but you hear you speak, and you're like, yeah, she can talk. And of course, and of course, with our experience in commercials and stuff, you just know people that can read, yeah, and who can actually do it. It's sorry,
well, I did find it. I mean, I found Nicole a big challenge because of the speed with which she speaks.
really
I mean, oh my
interesting.
goodness, it's like Dickens. She, yeah, she's really fast. And Richard, he's got the patience of a saint. He'd go, no, a bit faster. Need to that fast. What, faster than what I've just done? Yeah, yeah. Need
Hmm.
that really fast. I said, but I won't get any meaning in it. He said, no, trust me. And then I'd do it in a, really
And
fast.
did you have a scratch? Did you work to a
No,
scratch?
no.
Never.
Oh,
You never.
sometimes, yes.
Oh,
Yes, because that
otherwise
was the
I'm good.
first time I'd had that as well.
Otherwise
And
I'm
it's
gonna
often storyboard and scratch.
I'm gonna write a complaint to Cartoon Network because I had scratches, but the scratches were usually more for time than anything else.
Yes,
Could,
Uh,
and
sorry,
there
could I
was
ask a
no time.
clarifying question? Just
Yeah.
sure.
because I'm personally not very sure what that term exactly means. Maybe what does scratch mean? Work to a scratch.
Oh,
It's a stand-in vocal, a stand-in read,
yeah.
done by
Oh,
It
sort of any one of the production team, really, usually.
oh, okay.
yeah.
And it's
It means
always to
it.
do with timing, very almost never to do with performance.
Mm,
Oh,
So
okay.
you still have the
Interesting.
creativity, but it's time restraint. So I'd never before worked to an animatic, which is the very early stage of the development
Mhm.
of an episode. And by the time it got to us, so it was just single line drawing. We would know exactly how much time we had in order to do something, and almost without question, there was hardly any time for Nicole to speak. So
Mm.
I've never had to speak so fast in any other character apart from maybe Miss Chatterbox in Mr. Men.
But
Interesting. Thanks
but
for clarifying that for
of
me. I
course,
appreciate I was like, oh no,
That's
is this
right.
something
Yeah,
I should
what's the
know?
action? Yeah.
my audition process,
Mm.
I thought Teresa was going to say I got a phone call and went to sound company. That is that was my audition process.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
you get phone calls from your agent, and your agent says, you got a shot at this, and go and do it, and you do. And I'm a firm believer in giving it everything.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, irrespective if it's a big gig or a small gig.
Oh, of course. Mm.
It's not like, you know, my halo's planted on top of my head, but I feel very stronger that way. Anyway, I walked in. I wasn't feeling on best form, which is probably a good thing because I was pretty relaxed. I don't get hugely nervous at them. I will get angry at myself for not being able to read, or angry at myself for being preoccupied with something. But Ben just started, you know, and I can't remember what it was like, but this guy's a complete jerk. He's can't do anything. It's okay. And then it just went from there to there. And then I started, I started, there's elements of some of my relatives in in Richard's cadence, which is New England. So, for
Okay, yeah.
example, I've my aunt Myra and my aunt Ruth, they spoke proper down east. This is what they sounded like when they spoke, because in southern New Hampshire we have this kind of accent, which is not totally Boston. It's down east, and so and so little bits of that started to creep in. So I started, oh, okay. And then I started to do that melody. But
Yeah.
it's all just completely unconscious. You're not thinking because you don't know what they're looking for. And then I
No.
started playing around with a little bit of a lisp, which would come and go. And in the end, I got it. I got it down now. So sometimes he has a little bit of a lisp, and sometimes he doesn't. And that little glottal thing at the back is
Yes.
again, you just throw it in, throw it back like that. And Ben was very happy. I remember him saying, "Yeah, you're Richard," and he was just beaming.
Oh, yes.
I've had, and Teresa, you been around. You know that they can beam, and you know, and Jane got it. You know?
Yeah, or you can leave the room thinking that's mine and
Thinking,
never hear from
damn,
them
yeah,
again.
exactly. But the main thing with auditions, that's important, is to leave the room not kicking yourself.
Yes, that's a
If
horrible
you've
feeling.
given it a good shot and you don't get
Mm.
it, you know, cool, it
Yeah,
is
fair
what it
enough.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Mm.
uh, one little thing that comes to mind though is when my kids were probably 9 and 11 or 8 and 10 when it came on, and they'd seen me on they'd heard me on television. They knew this is what Dad did, but they started watching Gumball a lot. And you know, Richard is just, you know, you just don't want to give him a hammer and a nail because something bad will happen. And they watched him do all this ridiculous stuff, and we got to the stage, you know, sort of, what do you think? That's Dad on TV. And they just looked at me and they kind of went, "Yeah, that's you."
Oh, no, really?
You little, you little shit. Because they just thought this
Oh,
complete dork was Dad, and it's worked out great. Everything's just
no,
fine.
Hasn't it
nobody
just?
can humble you quite like kids, right?
No,
No,
exactly. Yeah.
guitar in my hand, I can stand on stage for days, but
Yeah.
without just being me, it's like, ugh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is
Sure.
much harder than doing you know, even though I'm enjoying myself now, this is more stressful than, being in session because,
Mm.
it's whatever world you're used to, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
that's what you
Right.
remember about the sessions usually is just laughing a lot.
Oh,
Sure.
so
Uh,
much laughter. They were very, very happy sessions.
mm.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a perfect segue into my next question.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, have there been any particularly memorable moments from the booth while recording for Gumball or any of your projects?
I think there's so many. I think as Dan said, a tremendous amount of laughter all the time. There'd be probably be some occasions when I would be laughing too much, and we'd have to sort of stop, because that is a bit of a thing of mine. I do get the giggles sometimes.
You get the giggles?
I do get the giggles a
Oh,
bit,
interesting.
yes.
Huh.
But usually when it's a recording, when I'm sharing the session with other actors. But yeah, I mean,
It's
Rich
their
is so
fault.
funny and inventive. And
Mm,
now this new series, Giles New, he's
mm,
also, incredibly funny person anyway. He's an actor also and voice director and writer. He's one of those people again, a bit like you, Dan, you can do so much. Um, and yeah, I was a little bit giggly this time around too, but I think the episode of The Money when Nicole has about 28, 25, 28 insults in one breath. So it's this really long block that she had to really, really be, shouting as usual, or almost screaming out a whole list of insults. I can't remember how they went, but it's in The Money, and someone's taking just emptying their house of furniture because they've got no money,
Oh
and then she
no.
suddenly just does a huge rant, and I was just expected to do it in one breath,
one breath, yeah.
um, and I nearly got there, but I think there are about three insults just too many that even my quite capacious lung capacity. I've got quite good lungs. I'm a singer as well, and I yeah, he had to cut, and he because I was sort of going blue in the face practically.
Oh no.
Um, but yeah, so they had to edit it. They're so clever with the engineers are so completely clever and save the day. But that I do remember that. But yeah, just lots and lots and lots of shouting and screaming. I had to
Mm.
copious amounts of water because I'd have to do minimum 3 takes just to cover everything, or do a variety of intensity, and yeah, I'd get through a hell of a lot of water. Thankfully, the aircon was great.
Good.
Yeah, so I think that's something that just sticks in my mind. But honestly, yeah, well, my memory's rubbish anyway. But so
Uh, I
that's
got
something.
I remember just you'd get a specific you get a joke or something that would just tickle you. And there was things like that. One I love was Richard standing there. Richard's eating a an entire pound of butter. He's like this, and Gumball walks up to him and says, "What are you doing?" He says, What the heck are you doing?" Um, Dad, why are you eating that like that?" He says, "What? I'm having toast, and there was no bread."
And what were you using as your butter?
And, no, no, and I was just eating butter instead because there was no bread, so I just ate the butter. And I'm just sitting there going, like that, things like that. One of my
And you were eating butter in the booth as well?
no, 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 I didn't.
Yeah, that's
No,
what
I
we were
didn't.
asking.
Oh
Yeah, I
no,
thought
no,
perhaps,
excuse me, no, in the
because
shot,
in
but
case it had to have that sound.
yeah, he's had to do that
Just
sometimes. It's just
technique, darling.
you know. Um, but I got to they drew me like Richard becomes people. I became Mrs. Thatcher, and so I had to speak like Richard speaking with an English accent. So it came out pretty bad, which is what I do. So it came fish and chips. Uh, that was fun. one that I like, which isn't a Richard one, was I play Penny's dad, which is
Oh
just kind of
yes,
how I
Mr.
normally speak.
Fitzgerald,
Yeah, and
my daddy.
when uh Gumball and Darwin's voice changes, so their voices break.
Yes.
And halfway through a conversation, Gumball. So if you Google Penny's dad does the speech from Taken. But anyway, they 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 so
Writing
Gumball
that down.
Gumball phones Penny's dad and says, "Hello, hello, can I speak to Penny?" And he's like shocked. What happened? And he says, and Penny's dad says, "Hello, who is this?" And he's, "Yeah, this is Gunball Watterson. I'd like to speak to Penny." And he says, "I don't know who you are. Are you trying to do a scary voice?" So he says this. He says, "Are you trying to do a scary voice? Well, I'll show you what a scary voice is. This is a scary voice." And then I did the speech from Taken. "I have a specific set of skills. If you leave my daughter alone, I promise you, if you don't, I will build a house around you with no doors. But whatever. And I'd never done it before. And I am so proud of that. I shouldn't be. It's not a good thing to
Of course
be,
you
but
should.
it came out. It's
We're all
really,
going to be Googling
it's
that
it's
as
a
soon as we
really
finish.
it's a really cute speech. That was
Oh,
that was
brilliant.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, Off the ball, one time I was session singing, and we went into a studio, and there's about eight of us, which is a weird thing. Eight session singers all in the same, all blokes, all in the same
Yeah.
place is a weird vibe anyway. And it was for Robbie Williams. Do you know who Robbie Williams is, Selena?
Yes. Of course.
Yeah.
I
Well,
do.
Robbie
Yeah.
Williams was doing a cover of "We Are the Champions," right? And so we
Oh,
were supposed to be the chorus on "We Are the Champions." And we're standing there singing, and we see these people in the control room. And suddenly somebody here, "Okay, we're gonna record this. Can you grab some cans?" And out from the control room walks Brian May. And I don't get Star Trek, but Brian May walked out, and for some reason he walked up to me and said, "Hi, how you doing?" I said, "Cool." He said, "So we're gonna let's do this. It's fun." And I talked to him and the guys, and then Brian May picked up some cans, and he stood right next to me on the same microphone, and we went, "We are the champions, my friend," and all that stuff. So, and
wow.
for 1 second, I thought to myself, I'm singing a Robbie Williams record with Brian May. Isn't this fun? But the tag on the thing is, you've never seen anything so funny as eight bloke session singers trying to say, "And we'll keep on." Yeah, that. None of us. Blood in the mic. Just absolute. It was the funniest
So
thing.
funny.
Because everybody's trying to hold their own next to the guy there
Of
and be
course.
impressive and professional and sound good. And it was just yeah, common phrase of mine, blood on the mic.
Carnage.
It
Wow.
was so funny. It was
Oh, that's
great.
great.
That's incredible. Oh my goodness. I'd be telling everybody that. I
Yeah,
sit next
there's
to
a
Brian May. Holy cow.
there's
Wow.
Yeah.
a few of those. I don't think they
That's
made the
amazing.
record, by the way. I
Well,
don't
Oh,
think,
it's
we'll be
still an
Googling that one as
incredible.
but
well.
it was a
Yeah.
nice day. It was a nice day.
That's a oh man, what a great day. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, well, we at Gung Ho Bookings, of course, we're your booking agents. We help get
Yeah.
you to different conventions, different events, so you can meet fans of the amazing world of Gumball, fans of you guys, fans of other work that you have done.
Well, that would be
Um,
nice. Yeah.
has there been a favorite moment or interaction for you at a convention or event that you've gone to?
Gung Ho really brilliantly set me up at MCM London last October, I think it was.
Oh,
So I did
wonderful.
I did 3 hours for 3 days, and I wasn't advertised. So I was given a little space, um, and it was just a case of really people walking by and sort of going, because I had the little a little sign with a
Hmm.
couple of the shows that I'm known for in the UK. and Gumball being one of them. Um, and I would watch people just walk by and go, this double take and go, hang on, what? And they'd see the images, the characters, and do this double take to me because no one really knows what I look like anyway. So I don't really have a huge online presence. And it was, I, I really, I was very nervous about it at first. But the actuality of meeting real fans face to face was, um, it may sound it may sound over the top, but I honestly mean it. It was life enhancing
That's
because
beautiful.
the fans were so kind and sweet and just loved the show so much, and it's part of their growing up. Um, and I had some wonderful prints, which I still have, and I learnt, how to sign it with the special pens. And I had a fantastic person, an assistant helping me, which is a really, really important aspect that I never realised. But gosh, they do a great job, assistants at cons, believe me. And I just found it. I just couldn't wait to get back there the next day. So I did three, and so 3 hours only. And so what these massive stars who do that all day must go through, they must be absolutely exhausted
Mm.
because you want to make it a special experience. You want to engage. You want to do the
Mm.
selfie. You want to do the signing and the chats and listen to what the show means to them. So yeah, I can honestly say that they were a complete revelation to me. Well, that one
Wow.
was anyway.
That's
So
so
I've
I'm
only
assuming they're all the same. They seem like so inclusive and kind spaces.
mm,
I
I've
that's
really
only
so
liked it.
beautiful.
I've
Thank you for
only
Yeah.
sharing that.
that's
Mm.
really nice to hear, but I agree with what you mean when it's okay. You know it has impact. You know what it's going to be. And you know people are people, but it's still nice to hear it. You're right, Teresa. It
Yeah.
really digs it. But I've only ever been to one Comic Con, and I had known that this stuff went on, but I just there was not a lot of merchandising and that sort of thing that went on at the early stage. So there was not really much of a of a of a of a venue or a way to it. So this is a revelation for me as well, and I am so looking forward to it. But as far as the uh, people knowing it. Of course, I still speak like a Yank. So when you're talking to people, they say you're from Boston, and why haven't you lost your accent? Which, you know, very unsubtly leads me. Well, I do voices for a living. Really? Yes, I'm not in The Simpsons, but I am in Peppa Pig. And then
Goodness.
you tell them about Gumball. Once they figure out Gumball, it could really, it can. They either know it or they don't, but people appreciate it. People do, and so I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we're very
so
happy.
let's see if any of the requests come in.
Oh, I'm positive that they will. And we're very excited that season 7 is announced. Oh my gosh. It's so
Oh God,
exciting.
you are all in for such a treat, honestly.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
crazy.
Oh, that was such great news to see.
I can reveal that for 14 years I've been asking them to let me sing There She Was, just a walking down
Walking
the
down
street,
the
said,
street. Yeah.
"Do what did he dum, did he know?" And they haven't let me.
Well, they will after that.
I think they should. I think they should.
I
Well,
just keep thinking, I
we need to
just
fight for it.
just Richard does Led Zepp,
I do
Have
have
we
that
really?
one
Gosh,
last
how does that
question. I
happen?
know we've just time flies when you're having fun, right?
Oh, no
It really
kidding.
does. Could you describe your character's perfect day? I thought it would be hilarious, or if you wanted to, totally fine if not. Um, if you could do it say it as your character, describe your character's perfect day
Oh my.
as Nicole and as Richard, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, my perfect day would be everything at home is in order. I like everything in its place. And I don't want anything unexpected to happen. And then I think I want all my family around me, and we'll have probably a takeout because I don't want to do any cooking, okay? Richard,
All right.
call, call for a takeout.
We, what
Yeah,
do I use
everything in
for
order,
money?
please.
Uh,
And then
uh,
that would be my perfect day to be with my loved ones.
um, that's not, yeah. Um, mine would be sleep, wake up, eat, sleep, wake up,
Yes.
eat, sleep, wake up, and then Nicole
Oh,
then
so
and
predictable.
Nicole says, you did a good job, Richard.
You did
Sleep,
a good job, Richard.
right,
Oh,
and then sleep, wake up, eat, and then Gumball and Darwin would say, Dad, you're the greatest. Sleep, wake up, eat.
Dad, you're the greatest.
And not
Oh
get
my
arrested
gosh.
by a donut cop.
Yes. I love it. Oh, I've never seen your mouth. So you almost did
I
that.
have to do that to do that.
So
Yes.
that's the
But
whole.
yeah.
Oh, that's
But
brilliant.
I'm not doing it because I lost a cap in my tooth and I'm on camera, so I'm
Oh, we
not
don't
doing
want
it
to see
right.
that.
No, we
No,
don't want to see that at all.
no.
But he yes, where are the donuts at? Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has just been such an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
Oh,
taking the
it's been
time.
fun. Thank you.
Yeah, for taking the time to spend this with us and answer questions and just let us get to know you a little bit better. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Teresa, and thank you so much, Dan. We
Thank
really,
you,
really
Serena.
appreciate it.